coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What Studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. Me! Yes, I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Let me entertain you. Are you not entertained? Make your next thing a big one. This week's shows, well, as I'm recording this, I have one public show. The Cedar Lounge public show on Thursday night has been postponed. It has been canceled for this week. They're doing some cleaning there tomorrow night. So yes, they'll be closed up tight until next Wednesday. They're cleaning up shop, getting that place freshened up and all good for you until next week. That's right. I'll be back there next Thursday night, 6 to 10, the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas. But I do have one public show still on the books. I'm kind of excited. It's my regular Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show on Friday nights. The place to be. Come on out. Full bar, kitchen's open, pool tables. You know they got a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to do so. Come on out to the Rab Friday night. Yeah. And then Saturday, I have a wedding. So unless you're invited, you cannot come. Only reason I mention it is because, yes, the weddings are back, baby. Oh, man, I've been doing weddings almost every week for the past couple of months, so I'm stoked. It's what I like. It's what I like to do on a Saturday or even a Sunday or even a Friday. Shoot, I like weddings. I like them a lot. I like to be part of your big day. The best part is, well, I send a planning form, music request, and even an event timeline ahead of time. So that way they're picking out all the great music. And at the end of the night, almost every single time, wow, Mr. DJ, you played the perfect music. Well, yeah, because you picked it out ahead of time. That makes my life a little bit easier. I have an idea of who you are and what you would like played at your wedding. So I have no doubt if you didn't pick any music, I could hit wedding plan 1A, boop, boop. There you go. And you'd have a pretty good time. But it's a better time when you pick out stuff ahead of time and we get together and I figure out what you want from me in your wedding. And not just a wedding, like any event, like corporate events or birthday parties or proms, that kind of thing, the school dances. Are there going to be school dances this year? I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, my goodness. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous and KeysDAN Gaming. Yeah. I've been playing video games online, just slinging out that good content while I'm playing video games. Might as well let you watch. And maybe you can give me some pointers. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. First of all, I'm too old to be playing video games. Maybe. It's fun. It's fun, I tell you. Believe the hype. While you're winding down, it's a good time. It's how I like to wind down sometimes. And while I'm at it, you can watch. Hashtag KeysDAN Gaming. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. My stepdad Johnny's birthday. Wish him a happy birthday right now. What's up, Johnny? I call him Pa. Pa. P-A. Pa. Happy birthday, Johnny. Go ahead. Say it. Scream it right now. Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1. Biden leads in electoral college, but Trump claims victory. The U.S. presidential election remained too close to call early Wednesday as officials in several key battleground states continue to count ballots. Democratic nominee Joe Biden led in the projected Electoral College count, but President Trump prematurely claimed victory. Trump, who won Florida and several other key battlegrounds, claimed without evidence that election officials were trying to steal the election from him and said he was, quote, going to the U.S. Supreme Court, end quote, to stop the counting. Biden said he believed he would win, but called for, quote, patience, end quote, until all legal ballots are counted. Trump's chances hinge on holding on to North Carolina and Georgia. Biden needs to win at least 2 of 3 battleground northern states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, where counting could take days. This is according to the Washington Post and the New York Times. Number 2, Democrats' chances of flipping the Senate fade. Democrats' hopes of winning control of the Senate dimmed on Tuesday as several vulnerable Republicans appeared to have won re-election. Democrats picked up seats in Colorado, where former Governor John Hickenlooper unseated Republican Senator Cory Gardner, and Arizona, where former astronaut Mark Kelly beat GOP incumbent Martha McSally. But they lost a seat in deep red Alabama, where former college football coach Tommy Tuberville beat Democratic Senator Doug Jones. Republicans held on in South Carolina, Iowa, Texas, Kansas, and Montana, sharply limiting Democrats' chances of picking up the seats they need to erase the GOP's current 53-47 majority. Quote, you wasted a lot of money, end quote, said Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican South Carolina, after defeating Jamie Harrison, who amassed a $100 million war chest in a bid to flip the seat. This is according to the Associated Press. Number 3, judge orders USPS to search for missing ballots. A federal judge on Tuesday ordered the U.S. Postal Service to search for misplaced absentee ballots in battleground states and states with tight deadlines for counting mail-in votes. The order came after the USPS said about 300,000 ballots nationwide had received entry scans at mail processing facilities, but not exit scans. The U.S. District Judge Emmett G. Sullivan for the District of Columbia ordered the checks and heightened supervision at the facilities in 15 states at the request of civil rights groups, including the NAACP and Vote Forward. Voting and postal experts have said the Postal Service should be able to process 97% of incoming ballots, but processing scores for the past 5 days fell from 97.1% on October 28th to 89.6% on November 2nd. The USPS said late Tuesday it wasn't complying with the order. This is according to the Washington Post and Tampa Bay Times. Number 4, Democrats retain House majority but fall short of expectations. Democrats appeared to have held on to their House majority in Tuesday's election, but Republicans did better than predicted. Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, an adherent of the right-wing QAnon conspiracy theory, won in Georgia's 14th congressional district against Democrat Kevin Van Osdale. And in another closely watched House race, Republican Madison Cawthorn defeated Democrat Mo Davis in North Carolina's 11th district. Cawthorn will take the seat formerly held by Mark Meadows, who is now White House Chief of Staff. Democrats flipped 2 other seats in North Carolina. In Georgia's 6th district, Democrat Lucy Macbeth beat out Republican Karen Handel. Representative Lois Frankel, Democrat Florida, easily defeated far-right provocateur Laura Loomer. Republicans have flipped 2 seats in South Florida, ousting Representatives Donna Shalala and Debbie Mercuzzo Powell. This is according to the Washington Post. Number 5, stocks mixed as presidential elections remain undecided. U.S. stock index futures fluctuated early Wednesday as the U.S. presidential election remained too close to call. The Dow Jones Industrial Average edged down while the S&P 500 rose slightly, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ jumped by 2.4%. The three main U.S. indexes all jumped on Tuesday while millions of Americans were at the polls voting in the general election. It was the second best election day for the S&P 500 on record after 2008, though trading has only been taking place on the day since 1984. While there's some indication that Wall Street is anticipating a Joe Biden victory, the upward trend could simply be a sign that investors are betting on a decisive election one way or the other, despite fears of a drawn-out contest. If the latter scenario does end up being the case, there's a chance the markets could reverse. This is according to CNBC. Number 6, Hurricane Eta weakens after slamming into Nicaragua. Hurricane Eta hit northern Nicaragua on Tuesday as a potentially catastrophic Category 4 storm with top sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. Eta, only the 5th Category 4 or stronger hurricane ever to make landfall in the Central American nation, ripped roofs off houses and uprooted trees. The storm's heavy rains caused landslides and flooded roads in Nicaragua and Honduras. The storm lost intensity as it moved inland over mountains, weakening to tropical storm force with top winds of 70 miles per hour. It was expected to weaken further to a tropical depression by Thursday before turning northeast and back into the Caribbean. This is according to weather.com and the National Hurricane Center. Number 7, 14 arrested, questioned over deadly Vienna shooting. Austrian police arrested and began questioning 14 people Tuesday in connection with a shooting that left 4 victims and a gunman dead in Vienna. Authorities initially said they believed as many as 4 attackers could have been involved, but they later said there was no evidence that more than one gunman had participated in the overnight rampage. Quote, "The videos evaluated so far do not reveal any evidence of a second perpetrator," end quote. Austrian Interior Minister Karl Nehammer said, quote, "Because the evaluation has not yet been completed, however, we cannot finally say how many perpetrators are actually responsible for the crime," end quote. Nehammer identified the suspect who was killed as Fedzuli Kochim, 20 years old. He had a criminal record for ties with a terrorist organization. The Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack. This is according to NBC News. Number 8, Miracle Girl pulled from rubble 4 days after Turkey's deadly earthquake. Rescuers in Turkey on Tuesday pulled a 3-year-old girl from the rubble of an apartment building that collapsed 4 days ago in a powerful 7.0 magnitude earthquake that hit the city of Izmir. A worker heard the girl, identified as Ada Gezgin, crying out as a recovery crew slowly removed concrete and other debris, layer by layer. The team immediately put out a call to silence generators, and the leader of the team spoke to the trapped girl, who apparently was shielded by a dishwashing machine when the building collapsed. Quote, "I'm fine," end quote, she replied. According to the Interior Ministry, the rescue work went on despite the danger of another strong temblor. There have been 1,500 aftershocks since the Friday earthquake, which killed dozens. Authorities called the girl, quote, "our miracle," end quote. This is according to NPR. Number 9, China halts Ant's massive IPO. China on Tuesday abruptly suspended financial technology powerhouse Ant Group's initial public offering of stock, which was on track to raise at least $34.4 billion in what would be the largest IPO ever. China rebuked the company's controlling shareholder, billionaire co-founder Jack Ma, and the Shanghai Stock Exchange postponed the IPO a day after 4 regulatory agencies summoned Ma and 2 top Ant executives to a private meeting. The company said its Hong Kong listing also would be suspended, and investors who subscribed to the IPO would get their money back. Quote, Ant Group apologizes for the trouble this has caused investors, end quote, the company said in a post on Chinese social media. The unexpected development so close to the listing was, quote, very striking, end quote, said Cornell University trade policy professor Eswar Prasad. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Number 10, New Jersey, Arizona vote to legalize recreational marijuana. New Jersey and Arizona are projected to approve ballot measures legalizing recreational marijuana. Meanwhile, Oregon is expected to take a completely unprecedented step, decriminalizing the possession of some illegal drugs. Several drug-related measures were on the ballots across the country, and all those that would loosen drug restrictions are so far winning, including in Mississippi, South Dakota, and Montana. South Dakota is projected to overwhelmingly approve a measure to let people with, quote, debilitating medical conditions, end quote, possess 3 ounces of marijuana. The Oregon measure decriminalizes the possession of illegal drugs, such as cocaine, heroin, oxycodone, and methamphetamine. Separately, in Florida, nearly 2/3 of voters have agreed with a constitutional amendment to raise Florida's minimum wage from $8.56 to $15 an hour. This is according to the Associated Press. That's 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. This has been What Makes You Smarter. It's KeysDAN, trying to fill my head with knowledge. And while I'm at it, you can come on the journey with me if you like the sound of my voice. But please don't make me the only source of news for you. Make sure that you look up for yourself all the footnotes that I leave at the bottom of every news item. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Hey, drop me some comments. Let me know what you're up to. What do you think of all these news items? What's going on in your neck of the woods? You know, when people say, hey, how you doing? They just want to hear typically, oh, I'm fine, and then just go about your business. No, I really want to know. I'll spend an hour, 2, 3 with you on the What Makes You Famous podcast, and you can tell me a story. Or if you just want to leave me a voicemail on my phone, 501-470-6386, I just might play it on a future episode of What Makes You Smarter. How about that? That's it for me. Well, I'll probably go play some video games. Find me at hashtag KeysDAN Gaming. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.